I study by practice tests. I think, worked for tests in the past. So there are some that you can get for free.
There's an NCAR rapid blinding exam for everyone.
Yeah.
I always take that one for the end. I figured it was the most official.
Yeah.
I scrubbed through all of these, and then at the very end, when I felt like I was ready, I could download that and take that. That's the last practice.
Don't ruin that one first.
I personally never took a practice exam because I didn't want to be demoralized before. I just wanted to be super confident that I know this stuff, and I never looked at any sample exams. But I did go to the Arctic flashcards because they are very, very good questions. I believe better than the Kaplan sample exam.
I bought the ballot book, 250, whatever, just shelled out, bought that, and that is all I did. I went on to the area forum, got a couple, I did the practice exams. I used my notes from college, actually, I still had those, and I bought that mini book. I didn't really flip through it, I went through that, and that has exams that you can get the other packages for, and if there's any, I go through that, run through it, and go to the other test material, and if there was something I still didn't know, then I'd go to the other sources, but that ended up being a great book for me, and I might be the only one who did that.
I did Kaplan for everything up until structures, and then I hit a wall with Kaplan, and it didn't make any sense to me. And I switched to balance, and he explained it differently, and that made sense to me.
That was pretty simplified. The Kaplan all the way through the most part. Structural, MEP, and materials methods, like that one book you put down in those. The more complex subjects, I just went to whatever that tell-all manual was, the big book, and just kind of flipped through the section specifically that I had problems with. I didn't see how much more.
That work experience is actually not necessarily what you want to use in these exams, because they're looking for answers which are textbook answers. So if you use the experience on work, it may actually cause a negative effect. You have to take it, test in a test-taking manner, where you're like, okay, well, this is what they're asking, and this is how they want me to answer it. So taking like personal, and professional experience is not necessarily the same thing.
I've been waiting for 3 months, 3.5 months.
Okay.
I mean, you can call CAB and they'll talk to you on the phone,
Oh,
but you have to wait to get it from CAB, and then you have to get it from Thompson for measurement.
Okay.
So there are actually a couple of steps.
Once you get a phone call, they'll look you up and they'll tell you, oh, it's in process or whatever. It took me 9 months to get my oral exam letter.
Okay.
From the last time I took my exam. And then it took me another 6.5 months or something before before that next test taking. It wasn't the electronic test, but it took about 1.5 years for me to get the last exam to even show up for my oral.
Okay.
That's a lot quicker now.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker now that it's electronic test.
If your school is accredited by NCAR, then it's only a 5-year program, and you start looking right away. If it's a 4-year unaccredited program, then you need to get a master's before you complete your test. Unaccredited master's.
Or you work.
Yeah.
The way that the CAB does it is they treat an accredited degree as a certain number of years of work experience, basically, and then, that kind of allows you to qualify for the exam, and on top of that, you need IDP. So in California, you have concurrency, so you can do IDP and the exam at the same time. Actually, not all states have that, so we're kind of lucky.
Just on a side note, if there's anyone in here who is in between the area and CAB, I'm not sure that it's super relevant, but I did have to do my CIDP, so all of that still.
Until like a month now.
Until that June is when I called up and I was like, do we really have to do this?
Yes.
So if you're there, you still. I would caution, supposedly they're voting in July and it's voting down because we all know that, but knowing that it takes 6 months for us to get a letter to test, I'm not sure how quickly that's going to actually be ratified. And if you're anxious or impatient, like I am, I would go ahead and just try and start blowing up papers. It doesn't actually take that long.
So it's not years, it's not time, it's the material work experience that you've done. So so it's not, you can get it done in 2 or 3 weeks, go back and make drawings, write a couple of rules.
Yeah, I got all mine, I moved to New York, finished IC, came back, got it all signed in one day, and moved on, basically.
You had all the
I wouldn't
work
wait.
experience with you.
Yeah.
I mean, all the evidence, I mean, with you.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's fine.
Well, I mean, because technically you were supposed to like write things,
Right.
write
Well,
your
you
narrative.
and your mentor, and
So-
my mentor was in the firm, so I had my initials on previous work and other drawings that I had done, and I brought that in, I said, look, I did this, and they said, yes, you did.
It's show that you bring meaning, and it
If
shows
you have,
that
if you have
it's on the second line.
yeah,
Right.
it helps.
I would actually also check with the board because I came from Canada, and when I first spoke with them, when I was still in Canada, they told me that I had to do CIDP. And then when I actually moved here and I spoke to them again, because they were actually, alerting the whole thing, and they told me that I didn't have to take it or do the whole process. So that's something I would talk to them about, if they're coming from another state, because it seems like the rules.
And it makes a nice, like, portfolio of work you do actually assemble the materials you need. It's good stuff. But the master plan, it's nice stuff showing it in.
But I will be honest, for me, it's the same thing, my mentors in my firm, so I just went to him and he looked at the different things, he's like, yeah, you do that, you do that, you do that, you do that, so just kind of trying, I didn't have to compile anything, right, I worked there, he was a principal, like, just provided to him, I did write my essays, though, but I didn't compile my work, because I was like, do I really have to do this, you know what I worked on, but yeah, I was like,
Well, so there's the, what do we call it? The EPC emerging professionals come in. You can do exercises from it basically, and you can count those for IDP units. And they're, even continuing education, AI continuing education, you can count for IDP.
Another way to do it is do volunteer work with Habitat for Humanity or something like that. That will give you exposure to architecture. You can put it in your portfolio, even though you're unemployed, you still are involved in the profession and get your IDs.
And you don't need to be working for someone to have a mentor in the firm. Really what you need is, you don't need to have your principal who you're working under sign it off. You just have to have an architect. So if you come to the AIA forum, you meet an architect, you say, hey, look, I'm not working right now, I'm kind of in the middle of employment, but I need a mentor. Can I take you out to lunch once a week, or twice a month, or once a month, or however long that you feel is necessary? They only have to be licensed. You don't have to work for them. So.
Well, technically, you get your, what is it, category A, whatever.
Oh yeah. We're category A, but I worked for a year and a half in construction.
Right.
And that counted as fine.
Absolutely. So your supervisor technically has to be the person that's supervising you on a daily basis. So the mentor is a good opportunity to work with somebody from another firm, work with somebody within your firm you wouldn't work with normally, somebody you respect.
Sometimes what happens to individuals is that they end up working only in SD, or they're only doing CA, or they're only doing CD, and they have spoken to their supervisor, and he's not giving them the variety of work that they need to do their IDP. That's when you consult with your mentor, what should I do, how do I get these credits, and he can guide you. Because your supervisor is basically not listening to you. So there are other ways to do it. So there are moments when you might be frustrated with your supervisor and you need your mentor to guide you. And I believe that it's valuable to have a mentor for that